Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. This video is going to be on the Samsung Q90 versus the Samsung Q80. Having two siblings go at it using Rtings.com's very valuable tool. Think about becoming an insider for their channel and their website. They're awesome. This video is for 3 subs. This is for Sir Glock. This is for John Kolb Jr. And this one's for Killer Master because Killer Master loves these are very long videos, so this is going to be a very long video inbound. I apologize. These comparisons are just more in depth as many of you are looking at these two displays. The reason why this display and this is cutting the line is because this is where Sir Glock comes in. After I did the price comparison of displays just the other day, by the time I released that video, the Samsung Q90R, probably the highest end LED out there other than the Z9G and the Q90R, dropped $400. And you're seeing that the 75-inch display so many of you guys covet is now affordable, as same as the Q80. You're seeing those drop. The reason I'm doing this video today and comparing these two is because of John Kolb Jr., who wanted to compare them and wanted to know. I figured, well, might as well do a video on it simply because it's a display that he wants, that a lot of you guys are thinking about. Sir Glock brought that information to my attention. Thank you so much. If it's the first time you're seeing me and seeing the channel, it is a community, real tech for real people. The community is very valuable to me. All of the best information on this channel is in the comments. I'm just the face you see and the voice that you hear for way too long, by the way. But some of the best information you'll see in the comment section below. And I do appreciate all the comments and all the information. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Sir Glock, thank you for the information. This video will be comparing the two. And the reason this cuts the line, I have a Sony 900F 85-inch video I shot last night. That display is phenomenal. If you're looking for Sony, please wait for that video, because I was blown away at the 85-inch version, spending some time with it, so please wait for that. That was supposed to be today. I cannibalize my own content every single day, but when a request comes from the community, that comes first. If you have a direct question, hit me in the comments or find me on Instagram and message me directly, and we can actually bring that question, like we did for John, right to the channel. So John, Sir Glock, Killer Master, who loves the long videos, I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your help. Comparing these two today, the reason why I want to do it today as the inventory is disappearing. I'm not being dramatic. Samsung, the best part about Samsung is they offer so many options, right? For an example, this year, there's other options in the lower tier, their UN line, their QLED line, Q60, Q70, Q80, Q90, Q900. Next year, they have a bunch of displays as well. But we know, all of us in the industry and who pay attention, that Samsung is shifting to 8K. They will have 4K models. They will have that available for everybody. But the problem is going to be is the quality that we saw with the Q90 and Q80 is going to be brought up to their 8K line. I'm sure the 4K line will also be valuable. The thing is, you're not going to see one that's the level of the Q90 or Q80 next year. At least that's what we're hearing. We'll have to see how they're reviewed. I just know spec-wise, those same specs that are on the Q90, I'm pointing to a screen you can't see, those same specs are being brought up to the 8K line, making the Q80 and the Q90 the last of its kind from Samsung. And I did a video on this a few days ago, but this is changing every day. The channel is not going to just be a TV reporting channel. I have a million other things I want to talk about. Pixel density, Sony, gaming, we'll get back to that. But right now, this is important. Why? Because many of you are on a tight budget. These are displays that you really, really want, and you're waiting. Last year, that display, the biggest seller for me last year that I saw in the community was the Q8FN. Awesome. Samsung's 8 series, KS8000, Q8FN, Q80. That's where your best quality for price is. Samsung is very, very expensive. Obviously, if you want Dolby Vision, Samsung is not for you. I'm not super interested in putting down Samsung in this video for not having Dolby Vision. They're very vibrant, colorful displays. Their HDR speaks for itself. Dolby Vision is very nice to have, but this video is really for those of you that are looking to purchase the Q80, Q90 right now. Q8FN last year, everybody waited. Some of you waited to the last minute and they were gone. Looking at Rtings.com and trying to find them, I can already tell you that the 75-inch and the 82-inch Q90s are no longer on Amazon from Amazon. You can buy them from other sellers. I don't always recommend that, but that's showing you that the inventory is disappearing. Sony releases less models, has more inventory. The 900F is still available. The 900E was still available for up until recently. Samsung, more models, less inventory. Q8FN, some of you guys waited. They were gone. You bought them. They were defective, and there were some real nightmares that we did videos for. I do not want to see you guys go through that to save a few bucks. Here's the thing about this community, and thank you to this community. It is a very diverse group. It is not only diverse as far as what country you're from, what gender you're from, what ages we have. We have a financial diverse group. I never want to cater to just elite. I love doing those really high-end displays. You know, they're $30,000. That's just fantasy land. That's that Lamborghini Bugatti line that we all love. I still want to cover our Costco brands, BJ's, Sam's Club, Walmart. There is no one that's going to be excluded on this channel. Somebody who's saving up for their first 49-inch display is as important to me as somebody who's making the most expensive display ever. It is all equal in my eyes, and there is value in all of these brands. But why this is important today, as I'm at 6 freaking minutes, I'm sorry, is that many of you are just waiting that last minute. And I'm telling you, if you do buy one of these and you have 15 days, they will credit you back that money. And if it's not in 15 days, if you do spend, let's say, X amount of dollars on the Q80, and then in a month the price goes down, well, you had an amazing display and it went down a couple $100. And I'm not discounting the couple $100, but I'd rather see you act on it than lose the opportunity to have it and then see that next year they're not available. Some of you guys are still want the Q8FN. It's just not out there from authorized sellers like Amazon where you're covered, or Best Buy. Best Buy is already running out of stock. So this video is just to compare the two. To me, they're both awesome. All we're doing in this long video with Rtings.com is just illustrating the differences between the two. There are some subtle differences that might want to make you spend more money on the Q90R, and there are some differences that might not matter to you. All right, guys, I will get behind the camera. This video will be long. Killer Master, I know you love these videos. This video is for you, brother, Sir Glock and John. Thank you as always, and thank you to the community. Love you guys. Samsung Q90R versus the Samsung Q80. Okay, guys, here we are behind the camera. We're looking at the Samsung Q80R versus the Q90R. The Q80 is on the left, the Q90 is on the right. Please consider becoming an insider for Rtings.com to support their work. To get to the tool tab, whether it's on your phone or on the website, on your phone, you'll be hitting reviews, and then you'll go over to the tool tab. On the website, obviously, just go to tools. It'll bring you to this, and then you'll be able to fill in which displays you want it compared. Now, is this information the end-all, be-all? It is not. But what is valuable about Rtings.com and even Vincent from HDV Test is that they do bring things like zone count, peak brightness, local dimming. A lot of these things would go bias, contrast, things like that we wouldn't even know from other reviewers. So the work that they do is very, very valuable. Is it 100% accurate? Is there some variance? Of course there is. They're human. They have also with them is they buy their own displays, and that has panel variance as well. So the panel variance is basically, they don't cherry pick their panels like some others that are sent panels through the company. So what ends up happening is they have the same basic situation that we have when we buy panels. So quickly, let's go through some of these. You can obviously do this yourself, but like the Best Buy videos, some of you guys like me going through them and which parts I think are the most important. So quickly, you're going to look at the two different displays. You're going to look at their design difference. Is you have the one stand, the one connect box for the Q90R, and you have the far apart, more simple feet of the Q80. You have the black bezel with the Q90R as well. They'll show you some quick what's close here. What I want to show you quickly with why I want to cover this today and why I think time is of the essence. When you're looking at Rtings.com, typically they'll recommend Amazon if it was ever for sale on Amazon. It's easier to link there. What's interesting though is just a few weeks ago, these other links were Amazon as well, meaning they're sold out. These won't be coming back to Amazon. Now, when you click over to, just randomly, we're going to go to Amazon, we're going to go to see price of the 65-inch. There's your 65-inch. You're going to see up in the corner, in stock. And as we get down by the buy now part, you're going to see ships from and sold by Amazon. Why that's important is they cover you A to Z. Any returns, any problems. When they come to your home to pick up a defective display, once that is checked in, you're off the hook. With other third party, even if they're authorized dealers, they have to wait for it to get back into their warehouse, which can take over a week, and then have them inspect it and go through everything. The challenge is there are times where it gets lost in transit, and I wouldn't want to see you guys risk that. So we're going to show you the opposite here. So all sizes are available at Amazon through first party. Okay, we're going to go back into the 65-inch Q90, see price. And a lot of you guys glance at this really quickly and you say to yourself, okay, you know, here they are. I have the 65-inch, the 75, and the 82-inch. All right, well, we'll click on the 75-inch. And, you know, the pricing is here. What's different is when you come over to this side here, fulfilled by Amazon, that's still better than just third party, but it here is sold by Video and Audio Center. This is covered by Amazon, but it's just one step away from being directly from Amazon. We'll look at the 82-inch. And here we go. Ships and sold by Electronic Express. Now, I'm not putting down these people selling it. I'm just saying that these are very fickle machines, displays. We know about the panel lottery. I just don't want to see you guys have an issue and be told by a seller that you're out of luck. Especially since some of the defects that we recognize are dead pixels. They don't just not power on, they have screen uniformity issues. Not Samsung, but displays in general. So just cover yourself there, but this is why I want to do this video today. As of this moment, the Q90R, yes, it's available at B&H and some others, but as far as Best Buy and Amazon, you're seeing right now the 75-inch and the 82-inch is no longer available on Amazon. So that's why I want to go through that. Sorry to spend so much time on it. We're going to go over these comparisons really quickly. These are very, very close displays with some differences that are going to be bigger for more of you. The Q90 also has HDMI 2.1 features. Doesn't have 8K, but it does have the features of variable refresh rate and 4K 120. We'll get to that later. But it's a little bit confusing, and we'll show that later. So they're very equal. You're seeing them right in line with each other. Where you're going to see a little bit of a difference is in sports, in gaming, and HDR gaming. You're going to see a little bit of a bump up. I'm going to imagine that the sports, we'll see when we get down to that. That 1 point difference is probably going to be motion-based. The Q90 has a little bit better pixel response than the Q80. The Q80 still has an excellent pixel response, but the motion is slightly better on the Q90. Video games, these are all very, very high marks. I imagine this is the same thing. Probably the functionality of having 4K to 120 FPS. Probably the same here with the functionality. All right, so the design is a little bit more premium for the Q90. As you can see them here with the feet. They're very close to each other in terms of the bezel. Now the contrast is without local dimming. The native contrast is higher on the Q80. I will say at this number, these close together, is probably panel variance. What isn't panel variance is with local dimming enabled, showing you they have a much more effective local dimming of 11,200 to 1 versus 5,721 to 1. Now we've discussed this with the Z9F and the 950G. Is native contrast ratio with local dimming and without local dimming something you can see by eye? I would argue that it is a big deal. Would I argue that you can actually see it? Who knows? But, you know, us guys that get immersed in the numbers, we can get lost with it. But I would always go with a higher contrast ratio. But there's plenty of people out there with other displays with lower contrast ratio that are completely fine with them. I'm not sure it's discernible by eye, but they're still worth looking at. Local dimming, they're both full array. SDR peak brightness, we want to pay more attention to real scene peak brightness than anything. All these numbers are valid in terms of having their own meaning of Windows 2%, 50% sustained. But what we want to look at is primarily real scene brightness, which with full array and with SDR, you have 689 and 831 nits. So within a few hundred, and The Q90 is clearly brighter. The Q90 is not the brightest display out there. There are plenty of other displays that are much brighter. Well, not plenty, but there are brighter displays. And then here you have the Q80, which is right in there in line, and it has really good results. Not the brightest display either, but very bright and very vibrant. The number we care most about down here, HDR fans, is the peak brightness numbers of HDR. And what you're going to see here is real scene brightness, 875 versus 1287. Now, that is a much bigger jump, but the display does hit in a 10% window, 1107 and 1078. So it's, again, a good value. It is plenty bright enough for a bright room, and excellent for most of you. But the Q90, this is where the little differences lie. Putting them side by side and seeing them side by side in store, it isn't a huge difference, but I would definitely say if these numbers are more important to you, then the Q90 would be the pick there. But now we're talking about budgets. If you can't afford the Q90, the Q80 is still expensive, but you're getting, you know, probably 90% of the picture quality. Now, viewing angle, these things don't matter to me with LEDs. They don't have a great viewing angle. You know, black uniformity is very good. Black uniformity with local dimming, also very high marks. That's where your blooming comes in. And, you know, the haloing around bright objects, they have a good result. The knock on the Q90s and the Q80s is they crush the blacks a little bit. So when you're talking about shadow detail with Sony, probably not having as good of blacks, and Samsung maybe crushing blacks a little bit, it's really a trade-off, and whatever one's more important to you. For a least amount of blooming, I would go with Samsung. For a little bit more shadow detail, I would look at Sony. And obviously, if Dolby Vision is very important to you. The reflections, Samsung is the best at this. The Q90, you've heard it being called a black hole. The Q80 is also excellent. For many of you in a bright room, this is very important. Now, as far as pre-calibration, these numbers are also panel variants. They do have a wide color gamut. It is a QLED. They are very colorful. Having the Vizio Quantum XP series, which is also a QLED, the Samsung just has the kind of colors that just jump off of the screen. Samsung has always been known for that. People will say they're inaccurate. Samsung people get upset about that. It doesn't matter to me. I just love their look. It's a very colorful, some say unnatural. You can make them more natural, but just their colors jump off the screen. Love their colors. Upscaling, not an issue. You know, 480, I mean, it's still a good result. Now we're going to get into the pixels, the color gamut, you know, good coverage. You know, the gradients is okay. Again, this could be a panel by panel variance, but that's a good mark. Gray uniformity, or sorry, image retention, there isn't any. I skipped over gray uniformity, which actually didn't have a great number. I'm sorry. Let me go back to that really, really quickly. Sorry about that. Gray uniformity, decent number. 3D screen effect is just something we see a lot of, but it's a decent number. Obviously, there's no image retention. There's no burn-in risk. Probably the most overlooked stat for me, being a gamer, is pixel response. Now, the Q80 does get hit sometimes in forums and even in the comments as having a poor pixel response. I have not found that myself, gaming on it and seeing it, but the Q90 does have a better pixel response. It is faster. The Q80, whoops, is also very quick. That is a great number. But if you want to pick who's got the better pixel response, and the pixel response, for those of you who don't know, is the time it takes for the pixels to change color. The slower the pixel response, the more you'll see a blur. You'll see the numbers here. 80%, 4.0 versus 3.7. 100%, 11.8 versus 9.6. Those are still amazing numbers. Again, these are very close, but this is what you have to decide for you guys. Is it worth the price difference for this little bit of variance? For me, it is worth the price difference, but if my budget only allows the Q80, the point of this video is to show you that they both have amazing options. Black frame insertion, a lot of you guys don't use that. It is here. Motion interpolation is here. Your soap opera effect. I don't put a lot of stock into these numbers as far as the judder. It's 10, and you know, you can change all that. We get to the inputs, which is important. So 1080p input lag. 1080p at 60, 15.1 to 14.7. Outside of game mode, some of you guys do outside of game mode. That is high. They're always pretty high. But it does, you do have 1440p at 60 hertz, 15.0 to 14.6. Those are great numbers. 4K at 60, 14.7 to 14.7. 4K at 60 with HDR to have the same numbers is fantastic. 4K at 60, 444 chroma for those of you with PCs. That is phenomenal. And even outside of game mode, you can add motion and, you know, and have some great movement, which you pay with input lag. That's outside of game mode. But what's interesting here is 4K at 60 with interpolation, with motion enabled. That is an amazing input lag, considering you can actually add motion. For those of you that love motion, that is a really cool result to have a low input lag with motion enabled for those of you that like that. Some of you guys hate that, but again, this is not just for a certain group. You know, some of you guys just don't like it. Some of you guys love it. It's good to be able to have it for everybody. 1080p at 120 hertz. I remember when this was a big deal just to have it. Amazing input lags there. 1440p at 120 hertz. For them both to have that, fantastic. This is where you're going to start seeing some of your HDMI 2.1 features. Not all, because it is not an 8K panel, is to have, obviously, you know, where are we? Oh, first of all, let's go back here real quick. 4K at 120 hertz, yes. 7.1 milliseconds. It does do 4K at 120. It does not have G-Sync. G-Sync is only on the LG displays last year and this year. But it does have FreeSync, which we'll show in a second. But what I like to see is 1440p with variable refresh rate. They both have variable refresh rate. 6.4, 6.1, which is, again, gets rid of the screen tearing. 4K with VRR, 14.5 to 14.1. 8K, obviously, neither one of those have that. But 4K at 120 for the Q90. So if you need that, have to go with the Q90. I know this video is getting long. I apologize. And here we go, back to supported resolutions real quick. Now, I flew through this before, talking about variable refresh rate here, 8.2, 9.4. I imagine this is a little bit higher simply because it has more options. But I want to talk about, here we go with your 120 hertz, but you're looking at G-Sync compatible? No. FreeSync compatible? Yes. So those of you guys that get really hung up on HDMI 2.1, both of these displays are going to be excellent for the next generation of consoles. Some of you guys are enjoying this on Xbox already. HDMI 2.1 for me personally is more PC based, and it's, if you have FreeSync on these consoles, you're going to be fine. And also 4K 60, guys, is going to be the target. So any of your panels out there are going to be 4K 60 no matter what. So I think all the stock that we're putting in HDMI 2.1, though I want it, but I am a PC gamer, so to me it is more important. For console gamers, I think it'll be nice to have, but I think you're going to be totally fine. So for Q90R, you have more of the HDMI 2.1 features, as they talk here about, here it is, HDR10 Plus, no Dolby Vision for those of you that are, you know, really important. HDMI 2.1, now HDMI 2.1, them saying unknown, I imagine it was updated. I believe HDMI 4 is updated to HDMI 2.1. Either way, it has that functionality, just not for 8K. This is not an 8K panel. And, you know, you have audio pass-through, has ARC, EARC support, no. Dolby Atmos, this is important to many of you. It's not important to me as I use an AVR receiver. So for some of you guys, this is going to be important with DTS HD through the ARC. Not important to me, but it might be very important to you. Using a receiver, a soundbar. And that's pretty much it with the differences between the two of them. I'm sorry, this is an absurdly long video. These comparisons are. Looking down at it, when you get into, you know, the OS is the same, remotes are very similar. when you get into the differences between the two, for me, better motion by a little bit, brighter, a little bit of higher contrast, and a few better gaming options is why you're going to pay the premium for the Q90. But for a very similar picture and great quality, the Q80 is also still amazing. Why do this long comparison on a display that is this old? Because many of you are looking to pull the trigger. I think you're awesome with both of these, Q80, Q90. I think they are a jump over the Q70 and Q60, but these two are very close. I know it's a long video, guys, but if you're looking to grab these, I wouldn't really wait any longer. Again, if your return window will allow you to get some money back if you have 15 days. And if you miss out on your return window, then you've had a really good display for a couple months and you're paying a low price anyway. But I wouldn't sleep on these displays, guys. They're going to be gone very soon. And like I said before, this right here is the first indicator that they're disappearing. All right, guys, again, I'm very sorry for the very long video. I love you guys as always. I will see you in the comments. If you have the Q80, the Q90, let me know what you think. Do you love it? Do you not love it? What do you think? I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.